There is a story told about a farmer who found an eagle's nest with one egg in it. So he took the egg back to his farm and laid it in the nest of one of his hens. The egg hatched and out came a baby eagle, which grew up along with all the other chickens. It spent its life in the yard doing all the things that chickens do. One day, after many years of living in the yard, it lifted up its head and saw a wonderful sight above. An eagle soaring high up in the sky. Looking at it, the eagle sighed and said to himself, "If only I had been born an eagle! If only I had been born an eagle!" He knew he had a pair of wings, but did not know how far they could carry him. He had the capacity to fly, but he was content to run around the yard with all the other chickens. Why? Because his mindset was not aligned to his potential. Here was an eagle who had the mindset of a chicken. The way we live is a reflection of the way we think. We cannot think wrong and live right because our thoughts will always translate into our actions. And so our behavior is a product of our mindsets. Mindsets are created in a number of ways. Culture, education, family tradition, media, relationships, etc. can have a strong impact on the way we think. Every influence over our lives has the potential to create a mindset. History shows us that people who lived with a positive mindset were not just successful, but many of them became pioneers and history makers, and anyone who reads their story cannot fail to be inspired. The life of Moses, for example, continues to be an inspiration to every generation because he was able to live with a positive mindset in the midst of negative circumstances. Moses was born into an Israelite family at a time when the Israelites were slaves in Egypt. Pharaoh, the new king of Egypt, who was alarmed at the Israelites increasing in numbers, legislated a law that every newly born Israelite male baby should be killed. And it was into this setting that Moses was born. But God was in full control of his situation and brings Moses in contact with Pharaoh's daughter, who adopts him as her own child. And so Moses, the future deliverer of Israel, is positioned in the royal family where he will grow up with the mindset of a king and not the mindset of a slave. What's the difference between the two? A king has the liberty to do what he wants, and so he thinks freedom. A slave, on the other hand, thinks captivity because he's in bondage. If Moses was to lead the people into freedom later on, then he would have to develop a positive mindset. Let's read the passage to see how Moses gets positioned in a place where he can grow up with a positive mindset. Exodus chapter 2, verses 1 to 10. Now a man from the house of Levi went and took as his wife a Levite woman. The woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she took for him a basket made of bulrushes and daubed it with bitumen and pitch. She put the child in it and placed it among the reeds by the river bank. And his sister stood at a distance to know what would be done to him. Now the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river, while her young women walked beside the river. She saw the basket among the reeds and sent her servant woman, and she took it. When she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby was crying. She took pity on him and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and call you a nurse from the Hebrew women to nurse the child for you?" And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." So the girl went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages." So the woman took the child and nursed him. When the child grew older, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses because she said, "I drew him out of the water." We need to take note of the fact that every other Hebrew was raised as a slave, but Moses was raised as a prince. Why did God see it necessary to raise Moses in a different environment? Was God trying to make Moses the future king of Egypt? Not likely, because things didn't finally turn out that way. We see later on that God used him to lead the people out of Egypt. So if Moses was not going to be the next king of Egypt, then why was he being trained as a king? I believe the answer is this. He was there to develop the mindset of a king, not to acquire the position of a king. God was putting him through that process so that he could think freedom and not slavery. The mindset is more important than the position. We are better off having the mindset without the position than having the position without the mindset, because it's the mindset that makes us effective. I'd like to bring out a few points about mindsets. Firstly, a wrong mindset brings wrong vision. What kind of a vision can an eagle with the mindset of a chicken have for itself? It won't think beyond becoming the best hen. It will look around the yard for the most elegant hen who can scratch the surface of the earth vigorously, lay good eggs, and cluck with the right accent, and it will say, "I want to be like that." That vision might be okay for a chicken, but it's not okay for an eagle. Similarly, if Moses had been born a slave, he would have aspired to be a good and faithful slave, a hard-working and productive slave, an obedient and a submissive slave, but a slave and no more than a slave. Misunderstanding your identity will hinder you from your destiny, because you cannot step into your destiny not knowing who you really are. A wrong mindset brings wrong vision. Secondly, a wrong mindset will take us to wrong destinations. The eagle with the mindset of a chicken will only go where all the chickens go. In that destination, chickens and hens will be his only company. He won't find a single eagle there, because the eagles who know that they are eagles will only go where the eagles go. And so he will be in a place without a purpose, in a region without a reason. He will be there with a desire but without a hope. Why do I say without a hope? Because he will have a desire to fly, but if he expresses that desire, his hope will be crushed by all the other chickens in his company. They would say, "How stupid you are to even think that you could fly that high in the sky." And the truth is that chickens are justified in thinking that way, but not an eagle. So a mindset that is right for someone else is not necessarily right for you, because potential differs from person to person. A mindset will always set a direction. So continuing in a wrong mindset will take us in wrong directions and bring us to wrong destinations. And thirdly, it is possible to have a simple identity but a significant mindset. We see in Moses a person who has the identity of a slave but the mindset of a king. And that tells us that there is potential for significance in every individual who makes the effort to develop the right mindset. Wrong mindsets will work against our potential. Right mindsets will work in coordination and in harmony with our potential. So it does not matter where we come from, where we are at right now, or how many mistakes we have made in the past. Today, we can take a decision that we will make the effort to develop the right mindsets that will take us in right directions and bring us to right destinations.